I'm a recovering research analyst, so I'm really driven by facts and statistics. And the truth is, the evidence is, to my mind, absolutely overwhelming that the thing that makes leadership teams perform better in business, the thing, is not experience, and it's not IQ, and it's not where they went to school, right? It's not who they know. It is diversity. And it's diversity of thought, perspective, background, any kind of thing that drives cognitive diversity. There's an enormous amount of research on the power of gender diversity. And gender diversity at the top of a company in the senior leadership team leads to higher returns, lower risk, greater client engagement, greater employee engagement, greater innovation. The idea that innovation is Steve Jobs in his garage is not really the case. It's the clash of different ideas. Diversity, gender diversity, is so important that gender teams outperform higher IQ teams. And if there's one thing you can do, the research tells us, to improve a team, a typical team in corporate America today, it's to add a woman to the team, right? The research is overwhelming. As a result of that, of course, our leadership teams over the past 10 years have become much more gender diverse. They have not. I just made that up. Today, this is, by the way, in a capitalist society, okay? In a capitalist society. And so today we have more CEOs in the Fortune 500 named James than we do women. I mentioned, right? Here's another one for you, and when I tweet this, people go nuts too. I'll actually put forward an idea. I'm going to say something that goes against mom and apple pie and all that stuff, which is that diversity outperforms meritocracy. How about that? And we think of it as, well, meritocracies, that's got to work, right? Because you just let your people lead, and they'll be profit-seeking or they'll be return-seeking, and we'll promote the best people, and that'll lead to diversity. The two industries we think of when we say meritocracy are Wall Street and venture capital. Wall Street, I mentioned earlier, vast majority of folks who are the same. When's the last time the investment banking, the Wall Street firms, earned their capital through a cycle? Not peak, through a cycle. Wasn't this cycle or the one before, because Merrill Lynch, part of the business I used to run after the issues, lost 50 quarters of earnings in one quarter. You know what drove it? Groupthink. Right? Yeah, it was leverage, yeah, it was but it was people. I was there, I was at the tables. It were people who had the same types of backgrounds and perspectives agreeing with each other, right? What I call the false comfort of agreement. The other industry, Silicon Valley, well, that's 95% guys who are in the senior leadership team. You'd be just as good putting your money in the stock market with a lot less risk than investing in venture capital. So the two biggest meritocracies in our country are overwhelmingly of one type, and the performance is not any good. And so what it tells us is our biases in choosing people overwhelm the research and the data, even in a capitalist society. It's really quite extraordinary.